Alright, guys. How I fought my eviction case, okay? I'm here to spill the beans. I'm here to get my testimony. I've been through it. Let me get a sauce, right? You feel me? One crab got out the bucket. Let me tell you how the fuck I did it. Alright. So, timeline. January 11, 2024. I received a dreadful 3-day notice. Get the fuck up out of here or pay your balance within 3 days or we filing an eviction. Right? Now, if you don't want to fight, you can dip out right here, be gone. Don't have to worry about an eviction. You just owe some a balance. You just owe apartment a balance, right? You could be stubborn. You can stay here and say, I don't care if you're gonna file an eviction. Go ahead. I'm still finna stick around. Okay. What most black people do, right? Or most people that are in a bad situation or come from bad environments, impoverished, and things of that nature. So I'm on that knucklehead ass shit too. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. Y'all ain't giving me enough time. I'm going through a situation. I'm pretty sure y'all hear me out. Y'all ain't gonna do me like that. What you need to do when you get that notice on your door is call your local legal aid, okay? I called too late. You can see the date on here is February 19th. That's way after everything that happened. I'm finally, getting correspondence from legal aid. You feel me? You call them, you can tell them your story. All right. These legal aid attorneys are gonna call from like random bill collector type numbers or telemarketer looking numbers, right? So you're gonna have to pick up random calls. I know you may be ducking hella bill collectors at the moment, right? Your phone steady blowing up. You feel me? You don't want to be answering these calls. If you trying to talk to these attorneys and get your legal aid, you have to, take the chance on picking up some of them calls and see whether or not it's, some help on the line. You feel what I'm saying? They probably won't be representing you, but at least you could talk to them for free and get advice, legal advice. Like they're gonna know, what to do in your situation or how to, process is gonna work in your area, right? This is just North Texas, you know what I'm saying, right? This county, just a certain county, you feel what I'm saying? So everything goes different in different counties. So you call your local aid. Local attorneys are gonna reach out to you and they're gonna give you some game. They're gonna lace you up. You feel me? So you want to do that as soon as possible. As soon as you get that 3-day notice, get them to lace you up, and then they'll start referring you to maybe different sources of legal aid or different resources and things of that nature for you to move forward with your case or your situation. So by me being a knucklehead, by January 19th, they like sending a constable through with the copy of the, you feel me, filed eviction paperwork. Like, hey, what court date? Nigga, 7th. If you ain't got my money by the 7th, we going to court. If you ain't out this bitch by the 7th, we going to court. You feel me? And I didn't really do, enough or everything I could to prevent this from happening, right? When they put that 3-day notice on the 11th, I wasn't expecting by the 19th they was gonna have that eviction notice. I thought they was gonna give me about another month, maybe another 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean? At least let that next month rent come up. Like, that's what I'm assuming. Nah, they hit me with it. So even at the point in time of me receiving this, I didn't really do much to really just try to resolve and my balance and come up with everything at that point. Like, I don't know, I was just kind of in denial. Like, maybe there was a job that was finna kick in, there was some opportunities that I was expecting to have, taxes finna hit. I'm like, I can come up with this bread. Like, y'all tripping. Like, this ain't really shit. Like, I can do that. So, I wasn't really pressed. Right? But that's just me, right? That's just the situation I was in. Other people, you know, in their situation, don't see a means of a way out. Don't have people they can call on. You know what I mean? Have people depending on them, family in need. You know what I'm saying? Kids to take care of. You know what I mean? Certain stuff like this where it's just like it's urgent. Like, getting this eviction, you want to do everything you can to keep it from going to court. Honestly, like, that's what you want to do. If you can pay these people their money before court date, by all means do that. If you can move out before court date, like, put that money that you owe them or less than, or what you can scrap up to find another apartment and move in before all that is reported, do what you gotta do. Right? You got this time from 2-3 weeks from getting this notice. Right? And then you don't have to worry about having an eviction on your name and you just owe apartments, some money, and you're still probably just gonna have to pay a deposit in the future. But what you don't want to do, the worst decision, is not showing up to court, especially if you're still in the apartment. Oh my God. If you're still, it don't even have to be an apartment. If you're still living in the place, right, you need more time. You're still trying to figure out what you got going on. You're still trying to come up with money. You're still trying to figure out where you can move. You're still trying to find another place to stay. Show up to court, please. Because if you don't show up to court, then they immediately can come over. Not necessarily immediately, but they automatically win the right to come through a writ of possession and put your shit on the curb. That's the last thing you want to do. And that's the decision most impoverished people make. That's what we not gonna do. Alright? But showing up to court, I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to tell them I injured, broke my shoulder, lost my job. Womp womp. Judge ain't trying to hear none of that. She talking about it's a packed house. It's 150 people in court today. She trying to run through these hoes so people can get back to their lives. She literally said something like that. So it get around to me. So you ain't paid rent in this time, and he owe you how much? Alright, well, I gotta, side with the landlord, the plaintiff, right? So I get a judgment. Okay. She 2 months, you ain't pay rent in 2 months. Okay, and then it's 2 weeks into this month. Okay, boom. Your rent is this much per month. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Prorated these 2 weeks. All right, that'll be that much. Okay, so you owe them this much. This is your appeal bond. This is your judgment. You owe these niggas this much, or get evicted. So that's the court date. Show up to court February 7th. Right? It says came to be heard. Right? Judge says, all right, well, you're delinquent $2,241.38 plus court fees with interest of a rate of 8.5 annually from the date of this judgment, because the court had to get in between y'all to settle this dispute. Okay? But you have the right to appeal this decision. This is fire, right? This is where, the judicial system and the loopholes and playing the game and, knowing your way around the matrix, the machine is, you feel me, how you're supposed to maneuver. But our people perish from the lack of knowledge. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Okay? So boom, I show up to court February 7th. Okay? I have until I receive this judgment in the mail. I have 5 days from receiving this judgment in the mail. Well, no. It's not that. She gave me, in court, the judge gave me 7 days to either appeal. Right, it says 5 days, but there was weekend. Weekend don't count. It's 5 business days. I'm pretty sure it's how it's counted. Okay. So I may either appeal, pay the appeal bond, move out, or get rid of possession within 5 days by the 13th of February. Panic, rush mode. Everything's crazy. End up talking to LegalAid. LegalAid say, hey, well, if you're looking to get more time in your apartment and you think you may be able to come up with this cash, well, then file that appeal. There's 2 types of appeals. There's the appeal bond, whereas I pay this judgment amount times 2, $4,740. That's the appeal bond to get this thing dropped, dismissed, out of there. Why would I pay that? But you really only have one other option. The unable to afford the appeal bond. Okay, so the LegalAid says, hey, put in the application for the unable to pay the appeal bond, in which they ask for just 1 month's rent. Okay. So here you see my receipt of me submitting my appeal to appeal the eviction for non-payment of rent. Okay. It says I must pay 1 month's rent, right? Like 7 days from the date of submitting this appeal, which was the 13th, and I have till the 21st. Right? It says 5 days, but these weekends, they don't really count. So boom, I went to court February 7th, put in my appeal February 13th, paid my 1 month's rent February 21st. I'm still in my apartment. Okay. Now, by this 21st, me putting in this appeal, right, they say, hey, if you don't pay this, failure to pay this, it's going to be a immediate writ of possession, right? So by that 21st, you ain't paid it, the apartment's coming straight through, putting your shit out on the curb. So if you're buying time, you put in this appeal, but you find another apartment. Instead of paying that bond, you decide to move into this other apartment. Hey, that's what you decide to do, right? But deposits, you still gonna have that eviction on your background. Things that is gonna be things like that. Now, fighting this case, right? I didn't pay my 1 month's rent to the court. Right now, I'm necessarily using it as leverage. I think the legal aid might have mentioned that I can offer the money paid to the court to the landlord. You know what I'm saying? If I can come up with the rest, so bam, I got a ban in the bank. With the court. I owe them. I can come up with the rest. You feel me? By February 20th, I come with that 1 month's rent. So in Texas, right, eviction court or eviction suits are handled with the peace court, justice of peace court. You put in an appeal, the appeal goes to the county court. So now that I done paid my appeal bond, now I have like another 7 days, 10 days, 14 days until the county court processes my case. So now we're at a standstill. Okay. By trying to use this money as leverage, I'm offering it to the landlord. I'm telling them, hey, you can, request this money from the court. He's asking me like what court, how much is it? Which court would he be requesting it from? So, which gets me, to digging. So I go to the Justice of Peace Court. I'm like, which court is going to be taking my, case? Where they're located? What's like the phone number or what? How do I get a hold of these people? What I advise you to do. Talking to I got another call from a legal aid person. I ended up picking up the phone, talking to this legal aid attorney. I'm telling them, hey, I'm trying to settle the balance. Um, the judge said whatever we do, get it in writing if we decide to settle, whatever the case may be. So the legal aid attorney ended up sending me a template for agreement, right? So that I could tailor made to my situation, my balance, where I'm at with our case and, what I'm willing to compromise, what I want them to compromise, and things of that nature. So I emailed that to the landlord, like, hey, this is my agreement. If we can agree to this, I'll be able to have your money, soon. By February 26th, I bring them the rest of the bread. Right, I present him the rest of the bread. The landlord's like, oh, well, I can't accept any agreement sent by you. I'll have to draft it or graft it myself. Can you, bring me the money orders for the money, to show or prove that you, have it, so I can send it to my higher ups, so I can see about, whether or not we should accept, the agreement and settle this case right here, the remainder balance. Right, and at this point in time, this February 26th is leap year, 29 days in the month. The new balance for the next month is finna come up, so my balance is finna go up. So I'm trying to settle my balance before that happens, so I don't have to come up with much bread, more bread right now since I have it all. You feel what I'm saying? He stalls out, hits me up days later, talking about, oh, but yeah, if we do it at this point, I will have to accept March rent as well. But I'll be, reaching back out to you with updates. Never heard back from this man. So reaching out to the court, trying to make sure I process my appeal properly, since he's trying to stall me out. He might be trying to catch me slipping on my appeal. I'm calling the courthouse. They're like, okay, well, yeah, we received your case. We just got it, like on the 26th. It's maybe hit us back next week. We'll probably have it processed, and in the system. So boom, they get it on the 29th. They tell me, you have a new case number. Now that we have it within these, 8 days of us receiving this case and processing it, you have to submit a written answer to the case, and whatever documents you want to submit. So basically, case is at a stalemate at this point, right? So they say, yeah, you'll be paying rent through the court at this point, right? So boom, I bring them the money order that I was gonna give them. Boom, pay it to the court. Another month's rent paid. Boom, I owed them. The suit was it was 2 months past due rent. Boom, I got both of those in the court. All right, this is what you sued me for. So boom. It's paid in the court. All right. So now at this point, they're telling me, right, um, this case is pretty much just at a halt until somebody requests a hearing, or not, or if it's not somebody, they said until I request a hearing. They can't do nothing. I have to request a hearing. Now at this point in time, I talked to a lawyer. The lawyer quoted me like $2,500, $3,000 to take this case. If they're charging me that my apartments didn't have a lawyer, so they will have to hire an attorney. $2,000, $3,000 is what were suing me for. You don't come out on top. You don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't come out, you come out negative if you hire an attorney for this case. If you have to hire an attorney for this case as the apartments, as a landlord. So I submit my written answer. Right, and there's a certain format, case number, plaintiff versus me, written answer. Plaintiff failed to mitigate damages. I approached the landlord on the date of February 26th with a proposition to pay the remaining balance of December, January, and February rent, presenting them with money orders, including 1 month's rent paid to JP number 2 to resolve the debt owed. Furthermore, I emailed a draft agreement to the landlord for us to settle this case. We have yet to finalize the agreement. Right, and then you have your address, and then you have your email, and I submitted my draft agreement. So with that being the case, right, submitted all this within time. You can see this is March 8th. Right, I bring the money order, I bring the written answer, right, and all that, submitted all that within that 8 days of them taking my case on the 29th. Right. So at this point, they're saying in 6 to 12 months, the case will be dropped or dismissed if I don't request a hearing. It's just according to Tarrant County, Texas. Now, if you are fighting eviction or something like this, foreclosure, maybe you trying not to get foreclosed, right, on a house or something like this where you need to get your shit settled and you need to, scrap that shit so you can pay, because at this point, I can't pay through the portal, right? They don't accept partial payments, right? I have to pay my rent through the court at this point. If you're dealing with a bank or dealing with, something more than just a lease, something like a mortgage, right? You may want to request a hearing to resolve everything so you can finalize the agreement. You can, scrape it, move forward, with a clean slate type of thing. If you're just on a lease and your lease is going to be up within this point in time, there's no point in requesting a hearing, right? Just don't expect to re-sign a lease, right? Renew a lease unless you already did it before you got hit with the eviction case. Now, then you may have something you may want to request a hearing for, because now it's like going into this new lease, and you still have this remaining balance going on, and all this stuff may try to stack up, or you may be still dealing with it, you know, while going into your new lease or something. Like, these are things that you may want to consider. Like, I don't know, maybe might need to, you know, get a final judgment so we can figure this thing out. But yeah, if you just plan on moving out at the end of your lease and just, find what maybe on a little balance or whatever, that's your best bet, right? But this saves a lot of people from being out on the street and giving up on life, or giving up on their future, or being in despair, or having this feeling of don't nobody give a fuck about them. Right, the government don't really give a fuck about them. I mean, you just got to go through the legal process. Like, you just have to really, you know, play by the rules in a way, as far as go through the judicial process to, right, obtain your civil rights, right, to be able to have your common decency, right. If you're not responsible enough to go to court, put in an appeal, pay your appeal and all this type of stuff, then, right, who needs to be dealing with you, right? Who has to deal with an irresponsible person? You're not, really showing, what you're able to contribute to society, or you being a Samaritan or a citizen, right? So it's time to change that, as far as, okay, this is how the process works. Finally somebody that went through the process. Finally, the person that went through the process is able to display the process and give people the steps and the guide through the process, and share that and spread that, right? Now, at this point, this is just 2024. Things may change and switch up from here now, since the sauce has been dripped. You feel me? But, right, I wish y'all all the best. I wish y'all all the best, right? And, I hope this bless y'all to, keep your mental sanity, keep your, head together, keep your life together, keep your family together, keep your shit together, right? Because going through this, I damn near lost it. You feel me? So there's a crazy high case in evictions and things of that nature. Let's reduce that by playing this legal game with these people, man.